Okay. So as I was saying, the philosophy or philosophies that we have learned in life can really affect our understanding of marriage. Okay? Because in my 30 years of studies, no man or no human being has invented the design of marriage. No human being has successfully come out in the public to tell everybody that this is the design of marriage, so you should follow this. But even the scientists were amazed with how the marriage was designed. And so, in defining marriage, they stated that it is a special contract, as you can see in the screen. It is a special contract with a permanent union between a man and a woman. Why did they define it as special? Then I discovered, when I studied law, I discovered that there is a ordinary contract. That's why it became a special contract. So if we differentiate the special contract and the ordinary contract, they said that the ordinary contract, we can impose our terms and conditions as long as we do not violate any law or morals or public policy or customs that is written in the civil code. So obligations and contracts, or the contracts between two people, is called the meeting of the minds. So whatever terms and conditions you want to impose in the contract, that is the law between the two of you. Okay? And that is called ordinary contract. Meeting of your minds with your terms and conditions together, you agreed, you will do this, I will pay this, you will do this, I'll pay this, you you give that services, I'll pay you for that services. So that is the meeting of the minds of two parties in a ordinary contract. Why marriage defined as special contract? In the opposite of it, you cannot impose your terms and conditions on the marriage. You cannot anymore impose your character, your own belief about marriage, how the society taught you about marriage, how your parents taught you about marriage, or your neighbors. No, it is not what you have learned from them, but what the law says about marriage. Okay? That's why they describe it very clearly that the nature, consequences, and incidents are governed by law, meaning you will be governed by law. Your actions, your treatment to each other, your obligations, your rights in the marriage are governed by law and not subject to stipulation. Stipulation means your terms and conditions. Okay? But there's one thing that the law allows you to do, which is your property arrangement or your assets. If you are deciding to bring your hard-earned money to the marriage, that will be the source of the needs of the marriage. If the other party is also bringing all his hard-earned savings or assets, inherited or not, to the marriage, then that will become the source also of the needs of the marriage. So have you talked about that? Have you discussed about that? If you are inheriting some properties, earning, but the other side has nothing to contribute to the marriage, then it will be, I can say, a future problem. Okay? Because the other one does not know how to produce money to be used to fund the institution. Remember that every institution that we create requires funding, no? Requires funding, meaning physical funding, not just hope, not just trust, not just faith. Okay? not just faith to the Lord, that the Lord will give you funding. No, it's not like that. So if you agree on bringing your respective assets to the institution to fund all its uh, expenses, then that is called common or absolute community. Okay, absolute community of your property relationship. Otherwise, you can stipulate in a contract that you do not want to bring your hard-earned money during your single days to the marriage. Okay, your inherited properties, you do not want to bring that to the institution to be the source of its needs, and the other party also does not want to bring his or her inherited properties to the marriage to be the source of its funds, then that is called prenuptial agreement. Okay, so if you want to clarify that, to specify that, you better execute a prenuptial agreement, and you need to seek a lawyer to do that. Our office also facilitates that kind of services. That requires registration before the marriage happen. Okay, that requires the state to recognize such document. Okay, next. Article 1 requisites should be male and female. That's why the law on same-sex cannot be passed in our Congress until today. Okay? And the Supreme Court said that in a marriage, there are three parties. This is according to the Supreme Court, the man, the woman, and the state. But if you ask the creator, the true creator of marriage, there will only be two parties in a marriage, which is you, the both of you, as one body, and him as your creator. So that's the difference between the human laws and the divine laws. Okay? So later on, you will realize that marriage is actually governed by divine laws, not by human laws. Okay? Unlike ordinary contracts, which may be terminated or rescinded by the parties upon mutual agreement, the marital bonds can only be severed by death or upon a court declaration of nullity or annulment. So we have no divorce up to now. I don't think it will be successful because the church is still very active in promoting against a divorce. Why? You will realize later on, because marriage is not the product of a state, and the state cannot uh, make any laws to destroy the institution. They are not the author of it. They have no right to destroy such institution. And besides, it's a product of your decision. Huh? Couples? So you both establish the institution. You have no right to destroy the institution later on. You have no authority. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry to say that. So don't expect that you can destroy the institution despite your knowledge that it was you who decided the marriage. There are two parties who decided to the marriage. The other party is the woman who accepted your proposal. Groom. Okay? There will be no marriage if no woman accepted your proposal. And of course, your proposal may be a promise, no? A promise of a good life, a promise of a better life, promise of to love you forever and ever. Right? I'm sure you will not accept the proposal in the absence of any promise. Okay? I'm sure you accepted it because there was a promise attached to it, to that proposal. Huh, ladies? Okay. Can you all hear me? Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
yes, we can hear you.
No questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So the requisites of marriage now in Article 2 says no marriage shall be valid unless these essential requisites are present. Which are these essential requisites? Number one, the legal capacity, who must be male and female. The age as well should be in accordance with the law, which is 18 years old for both male and female. But there will be a need for parents' consent or advice if you are between ages 18 to 25. And legal capacity also talks about your legal availability to enter into this contract, special contract. Are you single from the very start? Is it really validated by your senomar that you did not marry a other person in your hometown or even here in the Philippines? So that's why that is being required from your embassy, because up to now there is no facility for the embassies here to have the connection, no? To have the technology to verify from your embassy here down to your hometown the status, the civil status of every citizen of that state or the city hall of another country. We call that also city hall here, where the civil registry office is located. That is where the agency records all the birth, marriage, and death of the citizens within a city or province. Okay? So that is called legal capacity. No, you have no ongoing case in court. You have no uh, imprisonment order from the court. No, how can you live together if you are about to get in prison? Okay, that is also covered by the legal capacity. Okay, the next one is the consent freely given in the presence of the wedding minister. Consent freely given, which means you are not being forced to it. You're not being intimidated to enter into the marriage. Nobody forced you to marry that person, not even your parents, or no shotgun is being pointed at you or gun pointed at you during the marriage. That's why online marriage is prohibited, because we may not be able to see if there was a force being applied to you to the marriage ceremony. Okay? Consent. You are freely giving it. You are willing to commit to this man, to this woman for life. Okay? Number 3, Article 3. Authority of the solemnizing officer. Previously, we discussed the essential requisites. This is called essential requisites. Article 3 requires the formal requisites. This is now the formal requisites. What is that? Authority of the solemnizing officer coming from the PSA. It's the agency that is giving license to ministers to solemnize marriage, because before them, there were judges and justices. In Article 7, if we move forward, their authority to solemnize marriage is automatic under the law. They were given the authority automatically, the judges and the justices. Then secondary would be the priest, the rabbi, the ministers, or whoever. Then number 2 is a valid marriage license from your city or from your hometown. So if you are marrying a Filipina, if you are a foreigner groom and you are marrying a Filipina, the marriage license should be obtained by at the civil registrar of the place where your fiance is located. Okay? And number 3 is the marriage ceremony. That's why there is a need to say I do. This is the ceremony part where the law requires the personal declaration. No, aside from consent freely given, there must also be a verbal declaration, okay, that they take each other as husband and wife, and in the presence of not less than 2 witnesses of legal age. So 2 witnesses are required, adults, not teenagers, to witness your wedding. 2 or more witnesses who understand what is going on, so that when problems arise later on, the witnesses will be called to testify that yes, I saw that 2 person giving each other or taking oath as husband and wife. That will be the role, the future role of the witnesses. In the tradition of Filipinos, they call them, or we call them, ninong ninang, principal sponsors. Okay? But their main job is to actually become second parents to you, to give you advices if your parents cannot give you the right advice during your challenges. But they can also work together if you are under challenge or under, if your marriage is under fusion. Okay, later on you will understand why there is a need for you to fuse one another. Okay, who can get married under the Civil Code 16 and 14? Remember that the Civil Code covers only also, or only marriages that happened 1988 backwards. Okay, 1988 backwards. So they are actually being allowed to get married at the age of 16 and 14, having reached the age of puberty. But court records show volume of marriage breakups because they are too young to understand and unprepared for the lifelong relationship of marriage with its attendant responsibility. So they created article, uh, they inserted in Article 5 of Family Code, as long as they are above 18 and not under any of the impediments mentioned in Article 37 and 38. So that is a complicated situation. We will not reach that article because the important thing about the marriage in the family code is when, oh yeah, there's a question here. The marriage license should be applied in the city hall of the bride, sir? Yes. If you are a foreigner, city hall of your bride, of your fiancé. Okay? So this attendance is the same seminar that you will attend in the city hall, but I'm telling you, we are better prepared for this seminar. Most of the teachings that you will hear from this session, you will not hear it from them. Okay? We have tested them already, and we are the one giving them training on how to do this actually. So rule on the marriage venue. What is this venue? Yeah. Article 4, 5, 6, 7 is what we will discuss now. 4, 5, 6, 7. What does the law says about marriage venue? Or ceremony, rather. The law does not require you to have a specific religious rites. So whether it is religious, so when we say religious, it can be Catholic, Christian, or Muslim. So the state does not care about that because no prescribed form is required, as they say in Article 6. And the personal appearance of the parties is required, as we have emphasized previously, in the presence of the solemnizing officer and 2 or more witnesses. Witnesses can be a maximum of 12 persons because the paper only allows 12 people to sign. Now, if there is a need for you to add sponsors or witnesses, then they can just shorten their signature in the document. And on our side, we reduce the font of the names because we also type them in their on your marriage contract. So I discussed this a while ago. The persons who can solemnize marriages, it's under Article 7. Any incumbent member of the judiciary. Also the judges from the RTC and MTC. The second group of people who can solemnize marriage are those who are endorsed by their religious organization, duly registered with our Securities and Exchange Commission. Okay, that is the agency created by the government, especially for those democratic countries where people have the rights to organize, rights to self-organization. That's part of our freedom in the Constitution as a democratic country. Okay? Now, in terms of who will solemnize the marriage of the parties, there is also a debate about that. There is also a lifelong dispute about that topic because there are many people who have formed or self-organized themselves into different religions. So, you know, when there is a priest who does not like to be dictated by the management of the Catholic, that priest will leave the church. And that priest having the authority to uh, to preach to people, he is forming his own organization, and sometimes he will engage all those who left the church to join him. No, so they will create another religion, another organization, and that is actually because guaranteed by the Constitution, the right to self-organization. And so the long list of religions are listed. So when you get married outside the bigger church or the biggest church, which is the Roman Catholic, uh, Christian churches are also formed. So when you are both Catholics and a pastor solemnize your marriage, that is not allowed by law. They call that voidable, which means the marriage can be void later on. You can ask the court if you want to nullify your marriage, you can ask the court to declare your marriage voidable or void ab initio from the beginning because you are not a member of the solemnizing officer's church, or you have a different beliefs. Okay, you are both Catholics, but the minister is a pastor, so pastor does not follow the Catholic Church doctrine, and so people use that as a ground to declare their marriage void when they don't want each other anymore. Okay, that is a loophole that lawyers are looking for as a ground because that is provided in our family code, the legal grounds to nullify the marriage, which will once you convince the court about it, then the court will just agree on your petition or grant you your petition. Okay, 345 talks about the other people who can solemnize your marriage. They will not dwell on that. City mayors can also solemnize marriage, and their authority is attached to the law, the local government code. They don't need PSA or license from PSA. Now, there are some solemnizing officers who will solemnize a marriage even beyond their territorial jurisdiction. So you can see that in their CRASA, if they are allowed to solemnize marriage only within a region or in the entire Philippines. I'll show you example later on. Oh, there you go. The next slide. In the box, you can see that the place where he can solemnize marriage is specifically provided here. Entire covers the entire Philippines. Some of the license you will see will only say within region 1 to 4, within region 5, region 6, regional authority, because that is what his church described his limitations, so that the other region will also will also benefit from the marriages of people who will go to their place. Okay, it's a business idea actually. So Article 8, rule on marriage venue. Can I ask someone to read it? Ray, can you read this for us, please? So I would know if you're all listening. Article 8. Ray, are you there? Ray, and join me.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah, can you please read this to us?
Hold on. Trying to get it back. Where'd it go? You wanted me to read this?
Yeah, please.
The marriage shall be solemnized publicly in the chambers of the judge or in open court, in the church, chapel, or temple, or in the office of the consul general, consul, or vice consul, as the case may be, and not elsewhere, except in the case of marriages contracted at the point of death or in the remote places as per Article 29 of the, or where both of the parties request the solemnizing officer in writing, in which case the marriage may be solemnized at the house or place designed but designated by them in a sworn statement to that effect.
Thank you, Ray. So it tells us about the venue as prescribed by the law. You have three choices actually, three choices. The first one is if you're being solemnized by a judge, then it should happen in his chambers. The second one is if it happened at the point of death, where some Filipinos are doing, they're getting married at that bed or in the ICU. And the third one is where you decide the location, whether a garden or beach. Then you will write a letter to the solemnizing officer like this, the second slide. You are asking him to solemnize your marriage in that particular location with the date and time also. And you will sign together below with your government ID and approved by the minister below your names. So this is the template. And this has to be notarized as required by the law, sworn statement. So it has to be notarized. But you can notarize this even without the approval of the minister, because the minister, if we will be solemnizing your marriages, we will sign it on the day of your wedding. You'll just have to notarize that before the wedding day. Okay? Next slide is the venue or the hotel will issue or should issue a certificate like this, written on their letterhead, telling everybody, this will become a public document, affirming that there was a marriage indeed happened in that venue with this couple's name and the time, and sometimes they will even indicate the name of the minister. Okay, this is just a sample. Now, the rule where to register the marriage is fast forward to Article 23, to the place where the marriage was solemnized within 15 days only. Okay, 15 calendar days. Let's say if you choose Tagaytay City, it should be registered to the City Hall of Tagaytay City, not from your residence, not from the place where you secured your marriage license, but where the marriage was held, okay, or solemnized. And article for the marriage license application looks like this. Have you applied and filled up this form, this kind of form? This is available only at the City Hall. So before they give you this kind of form, they will ask for your fiance. So you cannot get that alone. You can only get this together. You fill up the first side for the groom and the other side for the bride. At the center is your guide, what to put in every box. Okay? Then after 10 days or on the 11th day, it will be released to you. Why there's a 10-day process? Because they will post this outside the City Hall building with your photos on it, telling everybody, telling all the passers-by that you are getting married. And if there's anyone who knows about the legal impediment or any hindrance for these two people not to get married, they are inviting those people to come to their office and state the reason why these people should not get married. Okay? So that is the intention of the law, why there's a 10-day process. So it's a 10-day period where they post the letter. So, and the notice, then after 10 days, they will issue a document like this, marriage license, with the title up on the upper portion, like this. Yeah, this is the usual format of every city hall nationwide, unless they stated some or they put some drawings, or some city halls are amazing. They beautify the template. They're putting some pictures and everything, drawings. Article 9, rule on marriage license, is valid for 120 days. Okay? Any part of the Philippines for a period of 130 days. Next one. Okay, no valid marriage license, no valid marriage. So it should be valid. Okay? So before they issue that marriage license, they ask for your CENOMAR to prove that you are single. They will ask for your birth certificate to prove that you are of legal age and that your parents' consent or advice is not needed anymore. So it depends on your age. So the requirements are this. Just take this screenshot or screenshot this screen so you would have a list. This is the standard checklist of every city hall. Okay? Rule on foreigners. When either or both of the contracting parties are citizens of a foreign country, it shall be necessary for them to obtain a certificate of legal capacity to marry, issued by their respective diplomatic consular officials. I hope you did this already, because during the pandemic, affidavit is acceptable. But after October 31st, they opened all their offices for foreigners who are marrying in the Philippines and securing a document called Certificate of Legal Capacity to Marry. So your embassy consul will ask you to raise your hands and swear that you are single, that you did not marry anyone else, or if you are divorced, you need to provide a copy of your divorce in the consul office. You secure your legal capacity to marry. So for those with no embassy in Manila, this is where the affidavit of singleness is applicable. Okay? If you have no embassy here, you will just state in a document declaring that you are single status and that you are legally qualified to contract marriage. Rule on marriage certificate preparation. Setting the rule on preparing the marriage certificate, its obligation falls to the wedding ministers. That in case where a prenuptial agreement has been executed by the parties, a box in the marriage certificate shall be ticked. Such prenuptial agreement requires pre-registration to the City Hall, where marriage shall be held under the rules. City Hall, open and close parenthesis, LCR, means local civil registrar. If it's a municipality, but if it's a city, it is called CCR, City Civil Registrar. So this is the marriage contract form in existence, formalized since 2017, and it has not been changed up to now. So you will see the first column contains the husband's details. The second column contains the wife's details. And the guide is located here in the first column. Below that column, item 15 is the place of marriage. Okay. Item 16, the date of marriage. Item 17, the time of the marriage. Number 18, certification of the parties, or both of you will certify and sign this document, where you can see two boxes below also, the two boxes. First box, then the second box. So this is the boxes where you will select one if you executed a prenuptial agreement or have not entered. That's the second box. So make sure that you check that box if you have not entered the prenuptial agreement. Otherwise, it will cost you everything. It will cost you everything. Okay, because whatever will be yours will be his, or whatever will be hers will be yours also. That is called absolute community of property. That's the marriage certificate on the wedding day itself. Now, if it's translated to PSA in security paper, it will look like this. And this will reach the PSA database in 5 to 6 months' time. Okay. If you are applying for a visa afterwards, then there is a strategy to secure it early in the form of early endorsement. So it is called early endorsement. You just approach the City Hall again and ask them to give you a transmittal where the PSA can easily trace it from their database and give you an advance copy in hard copy. Advance copy to be submitted to your embassy here for the visa application process, or when you get out of the country a few months after your wedding, the immigration officers will look for this marriage contract. Okay. So our office also facilitates such early endorsement if you are requiring copy, a PSA copy in 1 to 2 months' time. Okay, so we can produce that to you in 1 to 2 months' time for additional fees, of course. Okay, Article 23 says the minister has the obligation to register the marriage within 15 days and 30 days for those who are exempted to the marriage license. Who are those exempted to the marriage license? Under Article 34, it says those who live 5 years continuously in the Philippines, living together in 5 years, are already exempted from the marriage license. There was a case of a U.S. national who have been living here in the Philippines with a Filipina, and they are actually living together for more than 5 years. So they approach our office if they will be qualified to the exemption, because the law only states the Filipinos. So when we validated it with our Department of Justice, they said that it also applies to foreigners. It can also be applied to foreigners who have a Filipino fiancé who have been living for 5 years here or more and shall be exempted to the marriage license. Okay? Marriage ceremonies in the Philippines can be, as I've said, can be Catholic, Christian, or Muslim, or non-religious. Okay, this is not necessary anymore. So far, so good. Do you understand all those technical requirements of the marriage? Couples?
Yep.
Yes,
No
yes.
question? No
No
questions?
questions.
No confusion? No doubts?
Will you be sending us the slides as
Oh,
well?
yeah. Yes, of
email?
course. Yeah, yeah, we will share it to you on Google Drive.
Okay.
Okay, so let's proceed to the counseling portion. Counseling. Time check 4:12. We hope to finish by 5 p.m. Otherwise, if you have more questions, we can extend up to 6 p.m. if you want. Right, pre-marriage counseling session, welcome. And we will also discuss the rights and obligations of spouses. Let's do our best to complete this in 1 hour. Okay, I will skip my introduction. Let's proceed to the marriage. Marriage itself, whenever I ask people to describe marriage, they always answer these statements. It's a permanent contract. It has no expiry date. It has no turning back. It's a lifetime commitment. Walang sulian sa magulang or no returning of spouse to his or her parents or the union of two souls. These are the common answers of participants in a wedding seminar like this. So I won't ask you anymore because you may have the same answer, but the better question would be this: is it crucial then to choose the right person from the beginning if there is no turning back anymore? Is it very crucial to choose the right person from the beginning? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Everybody says yes. Thank you for that. Now, Socrates, let's seek the help of early philosophers, early people who have contributed a lot to our education, to our system, to our government, to our science, everything. Like this man named Socrates. He said that the beginning of wisdom is a definition of terms. When you define the terms according to him, you will start understanding what does it mean. Okay? When you understand it, you will realize, you will understand, then you'll become wise. It's the source of wisdom. The moment you understand or define the terms. So let's define marriage. But before that, from whom? From whom the marriage started? It started from the male. Okay? It started from the male because he has a proposal to the female, to the woman. Then the woman accepted it. Then they got married or lived together. It is also called marriage, even though you did not sign a formal contract or did not do a ceremony in public. You are still considered marriage under the law, especially if you are publicly showing to people that you are husband and wife. So Supreme Court has already addressed that. In a case of parricide where the husband defended himself that they are not married, so the degree of penalty must be lower. So the Supreme Court said, no, even though you don't have paper, but you publicly displayed your relationship as a husband and wife, then you are married. under the law. That's the declaration of our Philippine Supreme Court in one case, elevated to them. So you accepted the offer of the man, bride, to get you married, then a marriage will be established, then you will have children later on, you'll be classified as a family. And more families in a particular place, it will be called a community. And more communities will create a nation. Okay? Now, if there are problems besieging the nation, like social ills, like the drug problems, poverty, and crime, they will just identify the community with the highest number of problems. So we will just go backwards. Go backwards in the community. They will check the source of the individuals involved. They will check the family backwards also. Once they talk to the family, they will also check the problems between the parents, between the husband and the wife. They will check your relationship. And for sure, between the two of you, when you release a malfunctioning child in the society, you will blame each other. Okay? that is our natural reaction to a situation when we are cornered. No, we will blame another one or person so that we may escape from the punishment or persecution of people. Okay? So the male is supposed to be the foundation of the marriage. And that is from the designer of marriage. Okay? That is the male. The world started only with a male until he realizes that it is not good for this man to be alone, which means all in one in Hebrew. Can you see my slides?
No slides.
Oh,
No.
no slides. Oh, sorry. I've been talking a lot without showing you the slides. Sorry for that. Okay. Can you mute for a while? You can hear the neighbors. You can hear your neighbors talking. Who is that? Ray, I'll put you on mute, huh? Okay. So this is supposed to be the slides that I'm talking about. So marriage, in your own words, then the cycle or the answers that you may give if you define marriage, and the relevance of getting the right person from the beginning, and Socrates defining the terms so you can be wise in handling the situation, and the cycle of the human beings. Male is the first foundation of the institution called marriage. So if the male is not strong enough to stand, then the marriage will be in trouble later on. What are those requirements for a male to enable him to stand strong during the marriage? Then we will discuss that later on. Okay. So marriage again is a permanent union. I discussed this a while ago, but I will give emphasis on the difference of the ordinary contract versus the special contract. So I explained this a while ago, the meeting of two minds under Article 1305, which is you impose your own terms and condition. Kevin, Adrian, you have a question?
Yeah, ito na ba yung pre-K na, sir? Di ba pa to? I think I remember you discussing this before dun sa isang session ko. I wanted to confirm if I'm repeating the session again.
Pang marriage license kasi itong session today.
Okay.
Oo. So, may similarities naman siya sa lesson.
Ah, kaya pa.
Sa pre-K na
Okay.
kasi more on the Catholic doctrine eh.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Antukin lang kayo doon if I discuss that. It will be presented by different saints, no, about their understanding of marriage. But this is direct from the creator of marriage. And what the human laws talks about the marriage, no, yung difference niya, ipagko-connect natin. But this is the final connection between their definition of the marriage against the divine definition of marriage. This is the closest law or provision that we saw in defining the marriage. But the church stand in defining the marriage also is the same as what the family code says. Remember that the family code was written with the presence of the Roman Catholic priests or clergy during the time of Koreakin. The officials of the church are the ones being consulted in the establishment of this family code. And they are united in saying that the marriage is created by God, not by the state. So no human being was given the right to destroy this institution. Okay. So if you are attending this for the purpose of marriage license application, then you stay in the Zoom. Kevin.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So special contract, not subject to stipulations. I hope you understand this already. But let me emphasize that the law itself will govern your marriage, not your attitude, not your habits or vices or beliefs about marriage. You cannot impose your terms and conditions only in a prenuptial agreement, and the laws are to be complied unconditionally. Now, in a series of cases in the United States, they have concluded, because as a result of their own research, that the marriage is supposed to benefit the both of you. Marriage is supposed to benefit the society. Okay, it is the source of happiness. They say that the marriage is the source of happiness of an individual. So they also concluded that the married people live longer than the single people. And it's a true basis of human progress. In one case, they declared it in the case of Adams versus Palmer. Your marriage, the benefits you will derive from it, is essential to public welfare. So meaning, as long as you stay happy and dependable to one another, it is needed by the community. No, so they would benefit from your presence also positively. Okay. So, as I've said, the male was prepared to be the foundation in the marriage, and they discovered that their social ills. I used to cite samples from the U.S. because they conducted mostly the studies that we need. No, they do the research, they do investigation, they gather data to form a conclusion. And behavioral scientists concluded that the results of social ills are because of the irresponsible fathers who have no concern about the fruits of their labors. No? Part of the fruits of their labors are the children they produce. Okay, so when they are not happy in the marriage anymore, they get out of that institution, find another one, and even abandon their support to the children they created. So the problem will bounce back to the community if you destroy the institution. As simple as that. Okay. The consequences of fatherlessness are supported by the data below from fathers.com. Children from fatherless homes are more likely to be poor, become involved in drug and alcohol abuse, drop out of school, and suffer from health and emotional problems. Boys are more likely to become involved in crime, and girls are more likely to become pregnant as teens. So that is no different to third world countries. It's the same thing that happens when a father abandons all his responsibility to the children. Right. Now, in Philippine laws, there are lots of law exclusively enacted for the protection of the women and children. So that's why when you complain as a husband, if your wife is from the Amazon, you cannot approach our legal system for help. Okay, because all of the laws are in their favor. You cannot complain of being a battered husband. There is no law for you, brother. Only physical injuries. You can only use that law in the revised penal code if you sustain physical injuries. Okay? And everybody is concluding that strong families is the foundation of a great nation. So, what is family for you? Can I hear your voice? Each of you? Let's start with Ray and Joyme. Ray and
Yes,
Joyme.
sir.
Yeah, can you describe family for you? Maybe Ray can start. Ray?
Did I find the button?
Yeah. Can you explain the family and the purpose, if you can add, purpose of the family?
First, you'll have to excuse me. I'm a truck driver. I'm completely exhausted. It's 3:30 in the morning.
Mm.
I'm
Go ahead.
listening I'm listening as much as I can. The purpose of family. Purpose of family. Is that what you asked? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. What is family for you?
Well, it's a group of can't even think. Well, it's family. It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's just so important. There's so many ways of describing it.
Okay.
I can't even think of the best way right now because I'm too tired. It's a social group of your family. It's I can't even explain it. I really don't.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll give that as an assignment for you, Ray. Huh? Okay.
Sure.
That's your assignment later on, huh? Okay.
Okay.
How about
Yeah.
Kevin?
Sure, that
Kevin. Yeah, thank you, Ray. Thank you. Kevin.
Yeah. Family, I think it's basically, for me, it's kind of textbook. So, family is a group of persons joined by either marriage, blood, or adoption,
Okay.
constituting a single household and interacting with each other in their respective social position.
Okay.
So it's consisted of the spouses, parents, children, siblings, so forth. So
Okay.
yeah, that's
Thank you, Kevin. But you also believe that there's a purpose for everything? Even the family has a purpose?
yeah, of course. So just by using the, I think, the diagram you explained earlier or before, family basically builds up the community, right? And I think it's noted in that cycle that you mentioned earlier.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Would you have the same answer, Adrian?
Yeah, you said yes.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Let's ask Aldrich and Rika. Aldrich and Rika. What can you say about the family and the purpose, if you may know? Are you both Filipinos, Aldrich, Enrica? Are you still there?
Yes, sir. So basically the same lang po. A group of two or more person related by birth, marriage, or adoption who live
No.
together po.
Okay.
Same lang naman din po.
How about the purpose? Is there a purpose for the existence of the family? May purpose kaya?
I mean, for us, for me, anyways, it's the purpose of creating a family. I mean, it's really like the other person said, it's hard to explain exactly
Okay.
to put into words, but for me, it's like creation of two people creating something together, which is a family, but it's like I said, it's hard to explain exactly.
Okay. Thank you for that, Aldrich. Nico and Jovi. Nico and Jovi. Would you know how to describe family on your own or give it its purpose also?
In my own personal understanding, for me, a family is a foundation of who you are as a person. It's basically who you are. They mold you to be the person you are now. Because as a child, for me, you are a blank canvas. So your parents, your extended family members, or your siblings influence to who you become as a person. So I think that plays an important role as family members to influence the child.
Okay. Very good. That is close to what I will tell later on. How about you, Nico? Are you still awake? Nico?
Yes,
getting
I'm
the
still
point?
here.
Would
Yeah,
you know
so yeah,
Sige.
technically it's the same. But more of the family builds the people or the child to be a contributor to the society. So being a good member of the society. So that's one of the responsibilities or the impact or influence of the family. So that's
Okay.
my understanding.
Thank you. That is also very close. Thank you for that, Nico.
Thank you.
How about Alexander? Alexander and what's the name of your fiance?
Emma Joy.
Wife.
Okay.
Wife.
Can you describe family for us in your own way?
Yeah, I think we basically defined family already in a textbook basis, but for me, family is the building blocks of the society. What you learn inside the family is how you actually act outside your house. So yeah.
That's good. That's a good definition. Okay. Grace and Burns. Alexander, do you have the same answer?
Yes, I
have the same.
I'm
Okay.
my wife.
Okay. Thank you.
Said it very nicely.
Yeah. Grace and Burns, are you together? Grace and Burns?
No, we're not.
No, I mean
My
this
husband,
is your
my
fiance,
husband's
right?
living abroad.
Is it
So-
Bernie or just Burns?
Sorry?
What's his name? Bernie?
Yes.
Hi, Bernie. Are you there?
Yes po. I'm actually outside po kaya
Okay, but
Pero
can
po
you,
ako
I hope you are all following. You're following all our discussion.
Yes po. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Grace can also define it in behalf of your husband.
Okay. So family basically for me is, according to school, it is the smallest unit in a society. And for
Okay.
me, it is where you put love and you teach love inside of your family so that your children will become aware of it. So they can enact upon it outside the society.
Wow, very good. Thank you, Grace. I can hear a baby. Huh?
Thank you,
Thank
Ma'am Yolanda.
you. Yeah, that's your baby. Thank you for that. Yeah, you know the closest definition I got, and the most reasonable or very fair, very meaningful or sensible definition was given by the Wikipedia. Okay, aside from telling us that it's a group of people related either by consanguinity or by affinity, it also tells us the purpose, because everything in this earth has a. Sorry, my line was cut off. What was the last word you heard from me? What was the last
I
word
think-
you heard from me?
I think
After
heard-
grace.
Okay. Okay. I discovered that Wikipedia gave a great or wonderful definition of the family and of its purpose. Okay. So it's the only source that I discovered that is very sensible in giving the meaning of the family and the purpose of it as well. It says that in most societies, it is within families that children acquire socialization for life outside the family. So when we say socialization, it's about socializing with people. It's about how to deal with different people. Okay, socialize. And additionally, as the basic unit for meeting the basic needs of its members, it provides a sense of boundaries for performing tasks in a safe environment. In other words, part of your teachings to the children on how to socialize is to teach them how to make their boundaries safe. For example, if you teach your children not to hurt other children, they will not get hurt as well. If you teach your children before you bring them out of your house, if you teach them how to speak kindly to others, other people will also speak kindly to them. If you teach your children not to grab other children's toys, they will not get hurt. Okay? So that is the most sensible strategy I can explain to you about how your child should socialize outside your home, because it will give them boundaries in a safe environment, meaning your children will have a safe environment because they will not get hurt by others. They will not hurt others, so people will not hurt your child as well. So it's creating a boundary for them, a safe, giving them a safe environment. And this is the line that I like the most, which I put in red font. It ideally builds a person into a functional adult. So when you produce a person in the society as a functional adult, then the society will be happy to receive your child. Okay? And he will transmit the culture that he learned from your home, and it ensures continuity of humankind with precedence of knowledge. So the kindness, as I've heard from one of you, will continue if that is spread, and but first taught to our children before you release them to the society to socialize. Okay? What else? Purpose of the family is very clear, is to maintain the well-being of its members, to maintain the well-being of your children, to maintain the well-being of your spouse, to maintain the well-being of your husband. That is where it happens, inside your home, because that is the purpose of your family, not just a result or a product of exercising your rights to marry or to be happy or to form a family. There is an obligation attached to it. So this is not a suggestion, this is not a recommendation, but it's attached to your duty as a citizen, not just exercising your rights to get married. What is that obligation? To maintain the well-being of one another, to make sure that you are happy, your children are happy, they are functioning. So what does it mean to be not maintained? What does it mean to be dysfunctional? So a product like the human being will be dysfunctional if his needs are not maintained. The wife can also be malfunctional or dysfunctional if her needs are not maintained or not supplied by the husband, or vice versa. The husband can also malfunction or can become dysfunctional if the needs are not being supplied by the wife. Okay, so it's not a one-sided relationship or setup, but a two-way supply should be a two-way supply of the needs of one another. So you don't create space in between. Okay, by supplying one another's needs constantly on a daily basis, you don't create a space in between because everything is being supplied to one another. Now, I'd like to show you a video, but after this, later on. Your marriage is an invisible institution. Why? Why I said invisible? Because people would not know if you are married or not. Maybe that's why wedding ring is created or invented. So people would know that you are married. So since marriage is an invisible institution where it cannot also be discovered inside your home unless you let people come to your place to tell them that you are a family or that you are married people. No, it's actually an invisible institution. When you close your door, the people will just assume that there's a family inside. No, whether you're married or not, they will assume that there is an invisible institution being formed inside the home. So since it's an invisible institution, an invisible marriage, then it requires invisible foundation. And what is that? Foundation should be knowledge and application of principles. Okay? The foundation should be knowledge, because the more you know something about marriage, the more you know how to act to a particular situation. The more you know, the more your actions will be guided, okay, into a safer situation. You will both be safe from one another if you have the right knowledge about marriage, about the principles of marriage, about the design of the marriage, about how the marriage was conceptualized. And the third one is the application. Okay? The third one would be the application. If you understand them already, then you apply it. And you will enjoy marriage because you are supposed to benefit from that institution. Okay? So it requires an invisible foundation also. Now, the invisible foundation that we need for this institution is the knowledge of principles. And this should be our priority in life. Okay? Our priority in life should be principles. What is principle? Principle is first law combined with the word pos. It's from the Greek word principal, because prince means first. Those who are the sons and daughters of a king, they are called prince and princesses. Why? They are first in line to the throne. So in Greek, it is fundamental, it is tenet, it is the law, it is the root, it is the basis of everything. It is the foundation, it is the origin, it is the doctrine. Okay, so when you can combine that, it's called first law. So when you deal with first law, it is not subject to your stipulation. It is not subject to your terms and conditions. You only have to comply with it. Okay, I'll show you a video that tells about the principles of marriage. So hold on for that. I hope you will take down notes about this, because this will help you understand the principles about marriage, where you have no right to debate about it, because it is the foundation of the marriage. It was there already, even before you were born or we were born. It's there already. So let's watch this video for a while. It's being presented to us by a best-selling author from the USA Today. He is Dr. Miles Monroe. According to his research, in a marriage, this must be the qualifications of a husband or a father for the marriage to be, for the marriage to work out, for the marriage to be very strong, for the marriage to be very beneficial to both of you. Let me know if you have no audio. I'll play this now.
I don't think you're sharing screens.
Oh. I always miss that. Sorry, guys. So this video is from Dr. Miles Monroe, USA Today best-selling author. I found his research very sensible, linked to the design of marriage, pattern after the design of marriage. So watch this, watch and learn, and please take some notes of what you will learn from his research about relationship. Because the more you know about this, the more you know how to handle your challenges later on.
Okay.
Can you hear the audio?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Watch and learn.
Hallelujah. Now, this is going to get a little heavy because I ain't got much time left. I only got 19 minutes. Boy, I tell you, this is crazy. Anyhow, listen. So you see, you have this issue where God only made one human being, a single person. Now, if you study the book of Genesis, I ain't got time to get into it, but I'll just show you quickly. It says, and the Lord took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden. That's Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Write that down. Now, God begins to instruct this one human being. He's not talking to anybody else. He's talking to the one human being, it seems. And he said to this one single, he put him in the Garden of Eden. Everybody say Eden. Say it loud. Loud, everybody. Eden is important. Write the word Eden down. The word Eden is a Hebrew word which means spot. S-P-O-T. It also means presence. It also means open door. It's a powerful Hebrew word. It also means delightful spot. I wrote a whole book on this. Please get the book. It's called The Power of Praise and Worship. It's about that spot. The word Eden means what? Spot. Let me define it for you. The word Eden in Hebrew means the spot for the moment where the presence of God is an open door to heaven. Everybody buy this tape, please. You got to remember all this stuff. So the first place God took the male man is put him in Eden. What is Eden? The spot for the moment where the presence of God is an open door to heaven. That's why Adam never had to pray, never had to sing, never had to clap, never had to dance, never had to worship. Why? You do those to get into the presence. The guy was put in the presence. Oh, I wish I could be here for 2 more days talking about this stuff. It's so important to understand that the first thing God gave Adam was not a woman. He gave him his presence, which means the first thing a man needs is not a woman. He needs the presence. If you meet a man who shows interest in you, your first question should not be, do you love me? Wrong question. The first question is, where are you? Phew. First question, do you love his presence? Because if a man is in God's presence, he could never slap you. He could never curse you. And God's smart. The first thing he gave this male man was his presence. That means when you meet a guy, make sure you meet him in Eden. You see, some of you ladies are so dumb and stupid. You go out of Eden to find a brother and then try to drag him back into Eden, and the guy say, I ain't coming. And you wondering why you're depressed in church and your husband watching sports. Come on, clap your hands. You got to get rid of it anyhow. Get rid of it. Praise God. Get it out. If you meet a man who doesn't love to worship, run. Cha. Cha. Very important. He gave him Eden. Then God began to talk to this man. God said to the man, he said, he put him in the Garden of Eden. His first instructions, work. Everybody say it? Work. Say it again? Work. Say it again? Work. The first place he put him is in his presence. The first command he gave him is work. So, the first thing a man needs is not a woman. He needs a job. God wants you to meet the man in his presence and working. By the way, the word work is an interesting word. I did a whole study on this in my book called Releasing Your Potential. You can order it through the internet because we only got a few books out there. I got bought specifically for you. Make sure you get all of them. Okay? But this book is important. It deals with the whole 4 chapters on work. I studied the word work. The word work in Hebrew, in that verse. Are you ready for it? Write it down. Write the word work down. Here's what the word means. It's the word ergo. E-R-E-G-O. And it means, I love it. It means to become. It's a deep word. First command to Adam, become. Here's what God is telling Adam. See, work is not something you do. It is something that you've discovered you're supposed to become, and you start becoming it. So never meet a man and marry him who don't know who he is. Because he can't become what he doesn't know. In other words, you got to find an individual who already has a clear understanding of their purpose. In other words, this man has a vision for his life. God told Adam to become himself, to become the vision he sees. Why? Because he's going to later on bring him an assistant. I'm getting deep now. See, a female was created by God to be a helper. But if ain't nothing to help with, you got yourself a frustrated woman. Come on, brother, sit up straight now. There are thousands and millions of frustrated, quietly depressed women in the church even, because they're living with a man who ain't got no vision. And they are full of energy. See, women come equipped because God made them to be helpers. That means they are sharp, intelligent, intuitive, wisdom leaking out of them. They are full of energy, ideas, and they're coming to help you, and you ain't got nothing to do. And so, when a woman comes to a man who ain't got nothing to do, that means he ain't got nothing for her to help him with. She finally helps herself. She builds her own business, starts her own company, and then that dumb fool calls it aggression. I'm talking about a husband. A boyfriend says, "You're so aggressive." She ain't aggressive. It's you who ain't got no vision. Oh, I'm talking to somebody. You so bossy. No, she ain't bossy. You lazy, brother. She ain't got nothing to put her energy on. That's why she's busy. Come on, ladies, go with me and shout a little loud for me. So when you want to marry a good man, your first question is what? Are you in the garden? Number 2, are you working? Number 3, where are you going? What's your vision? Let's not discuss love yet, because love does not keep marriage together. Is this good stuff? I'm having a good time, I'm telling you. The third thing God told the man, he said, cultivate. Everybody say cultivate. Genesis 2:15. Cultivate. Everybody say cultivate. The word cultivate means to bring out the best in everything around you. To cultivate means that you put fertilizer and you dig around it and you bring out the fruitfulness. In other words, cultivate means that you maximize the potential of something in your presence. God told the male, you are to be a cultivator. That means a real man does not oppress a woman's gifts. He makes room for them. He encourages them. He sends her to night school to get more knowledge, and he pays for it. Oh, I'm talking to myself. He's a cultivator. He improves his wife. To cultivate means that you make the thing in your presence the best it could be. Cultivation. I love Jesus, you know, he's a good man. And he does have a wife. Her name is Ecclesia. She's a beautiful lady. Here's how he treats her. It says, husband, love your wife like Christ loves his wife. How? He cleanses her. He washes her. He improves her. He gives her the word. He moves every blemish, every stain, everything. And then it says he presents her to, not to his father, but to himself. In other words, a real man cultivates a woman, develops a woman, refines a woman, and makes her so awesome, he says, that's mine, brother. Look at that. That's mine. He presents her to himself. A real man improves a woman. God, I got 7 minutes. Praise God. So when you meet a man who winks at you, don't be impressed. Start asking the questions of the first man. Number 1, do you love God's presence? Number 2, are you working? Number 3, do you have a vision for your life? Number 4, can you improve me, baby? Come on, clap your hands loud and shout amen in this place. It's a real man. My wife teaches conferences all over the world with me now. She speaks to millions of women, television. She speaks to thousands of women in conferences all over the different nations. But when I first met her, she was so shy, afraid to even talk to cats. Very, very, very quiet, introvert, you know. But you see, let me tell you men something. Listen to you guys, listen to me now. When God gives you an assignment, he gives you the material to use it on. Listen to me. So God will never give a male the woman he wants. That's why a male will never find the woman he really wants. She doesn't exist. God will only give him the raw material. Because his job is to what? So you men always trying to find the perfect woman. The perfect woman only exists in your head. Your job is to work on the one that you chose and make her the woman in your head. When Jesus first met his wife, she was full of sin and dirt and muck and damnation and hellbound. He says, I still love you, baby. Come on, somebody. And he married her. And he took his blood and he cleansed her. And then he took every spot, every wrinkle, every blemish, every sin. He said, look at that. That's my baby. Come on, praise his name. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's a real man. All the ladies say with me, cultivate me, baby, cultivate me, baby, cultivate me, baby. Come on, look at the guy next to you and say, cultivate me, baby. Come on, praise him just for a couple seconds. Just give him glory. You're getting revelation knowledge. Hallelujah. Praise God. Sit down, quick, sit down, sit down. I got 4 minutes. Oh, Jesus, have mercy. Shh. Calm down, listen. And after God gave the man cultivation responsibility, then he comes with the last one. He says, guard the garden. Everybody say guard. He told this single man, you are to protect everything that comes into your presence. That's why God designed the male to be physically larger. His muscle mass is bigger. His bone structure is stronger. Not to hurt women, but to protect women. Clap, ladies, right there. Praise God. When a man hurts a woman physically with his hands or his body, he is abusing the purpose for his strength. The safest place for a woman should be in the arms of her husband. The safest place for a daughter should be the arms of her father. But we got incest everywhere. Protect. So when you take a young lady out, sir, in this church or wherever you're from, on a date, she's supposed to be safe, not sorry she went. She's supposed to come back safe, not pregnant. You shouldn't use your strength to overpower your date. You use it to protect her from yourself. But Jesus was the protector of his wife, wasn't he? You want to hear him talk about her? Listen how he talks about her. He says, if anyone offends my wife, it is better for him to tie a rope around his neck and a stone on the other end and commit suicide. In other words, don't fool with my wife. I will kill you, he says. That's what I call protection. Don't entertain a man who doesn't open the door for you. Oh, Lord. And he opened the door because you're weak. He opened it because he doesn't want you to hurt your nails. Protecting you, baby. Last command, God said to the man, he says, and I command you, this is the last one now, he says, keep my command. Do not touch the tree. The last thing God gave the male, the single, was his word. Write it down. His what? Word. That means that the male had the word before the woman. And he had word before woman. By the way, I'm going to autograph all the books that you buy because my publisher told me my autograph is now worth $56,000. Ooh, that's nice. Listen, when you meet someone who winks at you, first question is what? Do you love his?
Hi, thank you so much for watching. Please remember you can support our work on our Patreon page and you get access to exclusive content and full videos. And please hit that
All right. I hope you liked the video, but just a short summary of what I have just shown you. We are about to conclude in this session. But just to summarize what you have learned from the video are these 5 things that contains the original design of marriage, initial layer of the foundation that you need to know about marriage. Ideally, the man should be godly, knows God, fears God, loves God. So if the man is godly, then you are in safe, or you are not in danger, because the man should be afraid of what he should do or the effects of his wrongdoings. He would realize that. Otherwise, if the man or your husband to be does not know God, does not accept God, does not fear God, and only fears himself, then the marriage may be in danger sooner or later. Okay, as we have shown in our statistics, statistically speaking, all of those violence against women and children cases, if you check the background of the male, he fears no one. The perpetrator, they fear no one. Second, the man is required to have a vision. The man is required to be a leader, to have goals in the family, so that the woman will also know where the family is going. So only the man was instructed to have a vision, although the woman can create his own vision, but you cannot create 2 visions in the house. Your vision, woman or brides, wives to be, your vision should be aligned to the vision of your husband, because you cannot create 2 visions in the house. Okay, 2 visions in the house means D. That is short of division. Okay, creating 2 visions is division. You will have a division in the house. You will pursue your goal as a husband, while your wife has her own goals. She will also pursue her own goals. So you will spend more time talking to people who will help you realize your goal, respectively. And in the end, you will have no time to talk to each other, and you will lose interest to talk to each other, because that person, your spouse, does not actually have you know for a fact that your spouse cannot help you reach your vision. So that would be the effects of it. Number 3, protector to the wife, to the children, to the family. So the man was designed to have a stronger bone structure and muscles, purposely to be a protector of the family. Number 4, cultivator. In case you don't see the improvements that you expect from your wife, husband, you are also obligated to cultivate your wife. This is your part of your mandate to improve everything that comes into your presence. So that includes your wife. You decided to live with that woman for the rest of your life. So whatever good characteristics or skills or capability that you want to see in your wife, it is your obligation to make her the woman in your mind. Okay? That's part of your cultivator meaning. So this is actually what Socrates mean. The more you understand about your role as a husband, the more you will be able to understand your position in the family and make things easier for both of you. Okay? And the last one is being a law abider or law abiding husband. Fears what the nature will do to him or what nature can do to him if you don't abide all the instructions of God concerning your family. Okay? And the ideal woman, on the other hand, is called helper, which is the name used by God when people run to him for help. And your wife is actually God in the flesh for you. Okay? All the help that you need is in your spouse, in your wife. You just need to discover it. Okay? As the video has told us, the woman was created to be smart, intelligent, as long as that woman is taken care of by his parents or her parents by supplying all the needs of that daughter who became your wife now. Okay? If she came from a very responsible parents, then your wife will be very helpful for you. Virtue or virtues. The woman should be virtuous, protects your body parts. Once you are married already, you should protect your body parts. That is not for the viewing pleasure of other people anymore. You are respectable or you are respectful to your husband. You are not nagging him. Hindi ka nanunumbat, hindi ka magastos, hindi ka nang-iinsulto, hindi ka dominator. These are all about respect that your husband needs from you. Number 1 that he needs from you is respect. Secondary is the love he expects from you. You are submissive. Wives, you are submissive. You support, you focus to your husband's vision. Even if you don't have a vision yourself, then make your husband's vision as your own vision so that you don't create space between the two of you. And number 5 is being wise, which means you are capable of handling your finances carefully. You don't buy things that are not needed yet. You don't buy things according to your feelings, but you buy things according to the necessity, which should produce something for the family. The things that you buy for the home should be beneficial enough for the family. It should produce fruits or income or profit. Okay? I'm sure you receive all your homeworks. You receive your homeworks? Huh, Papa?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's discuss that individually, and I hope you have chosen one to report to discuss here. We only need to hear one thing: what went wrong and what should have been done. Okay, those two things: what went wrong and what should have been done to conclude this session. Can we start with the first couple in the video panel? Nico and Jovi, can you present one case from that homework and tell us what happened, what should have been done?
Yes. For a while, just check what we did. Okay, you can go first.
Mine was about the case about husband and wife, wherein the husband had a mistress.
Mhm.
So basically what happened there was I think the relationship was going smoothly until there was a time where the husband had an affair with his workmate, I think, and then he went to live with the mistress somewhere in Zamboanga or Zambales.
That's the Bausi case, violence against
Oh,
women and children case. Okay, go ahead.
yes, yes po. And then the wife um put an effort to really look for her husband, and she just wanted the husband and the mistress to file a report wherein they swear that they will never see each other again. So yeah, so after that, the husband went home to the wife, and then eventually, after a few months, the husband again went to his mistress. So with that, the wife developed mental illnesses like or disorders like depression, and she developed insomnia. So eventually they filed a case in court, and it was the husband was found guilty, I think, for adultery or whatever. Okay, so I think the whole story revolves around it's basically cheating. But what I find amazing with this story is that I think the wife just wants the husband to go home. It's not that yes, of course, she got depressed, she got mad about the whole situation, but I think in the end what she just really wants is for his husband to go home and start anew. So I find that amazing because like what I said in my reaction paper, how could you accept someone who has broken you down to pieces? So I think that's my take about that.
Okay. Nico, what do you think
Yes.
should have been done in this case?
I haven't gotten the chance to read that part. However, when Jovi explained it just right now, it seems that there is a lack of being owning up to the family of the husband because he got carried away or regarding the emotions or something to follow the mistress rather than still maintaining or building his own family. Even though the mother or the wife gave them a chance to build the family, but he still failed to do so. So that's
Okay.
my
Okay. This is a classic case of violence against women and children, where the husband was sentenced to 8 years of imprisonment, where the Supreme Court says, even though you don't hurt your wife physically, you don't give her bruises or or black eye, but you gave her emotional problem due to your act of infidelity. The Supreme Court says it's a form of psychological violence. Okay? It's a form of psychological violence. So, husbands, I'm calling your attention that betrayal has no place in any relationship. Okay? Betrayal is a serious crime in relationship. So you only create you only live as one body. One body. You don't unite your body to another body. Okay? You just decide to unite your body into another person who happens to be your spouse now. So when you betray your spouse, it's equivalent to committing another vow, making another vow to the next person. And so the consequences are also built in. You don't have to be brought to court. You will experience the consequences first. Even before the Supreme Court, the laws of man will give you the punishment. The punishment is already given to you by nature. If you violate your vows, you violate the vows that you made publicly on your wedding day. Okay, so that is what what I'm explaining a while ago about principles. These are principles, and you cannot negotiate when we talk about principles, because we are dealing with the creator of the marriage. We are dealing with the author himself of marriage. So, as I presented to you in the session, to prevent that from happening, you only need to supply the needs of one another continuously, and that is on a daily basis. Okay? Thank you, Nico and Jovi, for that. How about Ray and Joey?
Hey, I read case number 2. It was it's I'm Canadian, so the laws and rules here are completely different than there. Not completely, but they're much different. I found I'm gonna give me a second here. Just follow me here.
Yeah, case number 2.
Yeah, case number 2. I was really shocked with the outcome of that. Not in a bad way. Now let me go back into the story, I suppose. It was a matter of a man and a woman, married couple. There seemed to be some financial difference between them. Where he was working for their common business and not getting paid, not receiving any kind of income. After a time, he found a third party. He started cheating on his wife, moved in with another lady. His wife accepted him back into the home after she brought him to court, where he said he'd never see this other lady again. See, that would not happen.
It's the same case as Nico and Jovi told us a while ago.
Yeah, it's very good. I read it and I was quite impressed with the Filipino law system on the regards of family matters. That would not happen here. I'm quite impressed with that. There was so much. The wife went through so much mental and emotional and spiritual abuse. You can see it just in the wording of the case. And I felt for her. I felt really bad for her. and the punishment definitely fit the situation to the man. I think it was in between 6 months and 20 years is the possibility of his prison term.
Yes.
If I remember, it was quite large and quite the large financial contribution towards the penalty.
Yes.
Penalty. There was I found it to be very educational for me to read that. Because the difference is our system here and yours there.
It was the very first case, classic case of sending the husband to prison. It's the very first case where the husband was sent to prison.
That was a very good.
Yeah. It's
well,
like
well,
sending alarm to would be sending alarm to would be infidels. Okay. So how about Joymi? Joymi, can you tell us what should have been done in the case to prevent that?
She doesn't have her translation. Her English is not that good.
Okay.
So it's for her to translate that on her phone.
Okay. This represent her. What should have been done in the case, Ray, to prevent that from happening?
We were speaking with me. Sorry.
Yeah, speak for Joymi.
What could have prevented it is equal distribution right at the beginning. The man and woman in a business, they're equal either way. They're married, they're equal either way. There was a power struggle, by the sounds of it, between the man and the woman, which caused. I don't know. I'm not going to blame either because I wasn't there. But from what I've read, she was acting as a solo person in the business, which caused a rift in their marriage. If they're married, they should be 50-50 at home. If they're in business together, it should be 50-50 in business, and that was not the case by the sounds of it.
Okay.
If they would have
arrange the financial setup.
Right. If they had at least made everything equal, it probably would have been much easier for everybody to digest.
Yeah, because most couples are just assuming that he should know it or she should know it. She should give it or he should give it. That's the problem of most couples. They are assuming or making their partner magician or a prophet or to read his mind. Okay, so better talk about it, better discuss it, and if there's a need to write it down, then write it down. if the other party forgets it all the time. Okay, is it a good suggestion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Aldrich Enrica, what case study did you focus?
So the case study I looked at was a case study 3. Basically the when the husband and wife couldn't conceive. So the husband was supposedly looking for a surrogate, but the story kind of led me to believe that he was just, he was initially okay with the situation of them not having a child, but I guess it kind of changed him, and I believe he started changing and started looking elsewhere. But he was using the fact that they couldn't have a child, and telling his wife that he met another lady just for for the child purposes, but I mean, this if you just read the story, to me it just seems like he wanted just to be with that other woman, just using the excuse basically to be with her.
Yeah.
So he wasn't being truthful with her, obviously. I feel like he was just saying all this, and I believe probably if he did have a child with the other woman, he probably would have left her as well. I also think there's a backstory to this, which the article doesn't show anyway. That's probably something something else that was going on before the
Yes.
article.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Rika? What should have been done in this case?
For me kasi, I find the husband very immature and very selfish. So, if they're really struggling to have a child, parang there are other ways naman, like, pwede sila mag-undergo ng IVF, or they can even adopt naman. Pero kasi, yung sa case na yan, may sex na na-involved eh. Parang it's very hard. Parang for me as a wife, mahirap talaga tanggapin yun.
Oo, parang nag-deposit muna bago sinabi sa asawa.
Yes,
No?
parang
Tapos tsaka lang di-disclose na meron na palang ongoing. Yung idea na meron siya is already existing in his mind even before the wife should know it. Diba?
yes. Mhm.
Yeah. And the wife should have been more more firm in telling the husband that that's not what she wanted.
Yeah, yeah. There is a process actually joining your egg cell and sperm, right?
Yeah, IVF. I think
IVF. So that's called IVF, which the woman's body will just be used for the baby to grow, right?
Mhm.
So science have already discovered everything. We have no excuse anymore concerning these things. So if they could have consulted a professional before this thing happened, then they may not be experiencing troubles in their relationship now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you, Rika and Aldris, for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time to read and study that. Alexander and Emma Joy, what was the case study you pick?
Actually, we did different case studies, but we decided to just do my own my homework. That's case study number 4.
Okay.
So it's when love falls apart. It's about this 2 people who were already on top of their careers. One is a recognized captain, flight captain, and then the other one is politician. Yeah, I was a politician that was able to make his town from fourth class municipality to third class municipality, I guess. Yeah. And then they got married, and then their lives started to, every day intertwine, and later on in their relationship, in their marriage, the cracks started to show, and that eventually affected them individually and also their marriage. And then later on, the wife went missing and then was found dead. So yeah, in my opinion, in that case, I mean, as an outsider, I cannot really judge, but as an outsider, my opinion is that I believe in living in before getting married. I mean, that could have been prevented. In my opinion, you will never really get to know someone fully until you start living with them. It is because we only reveal our true self at home. This is when one can truly see your partner on how he treats you during arguments or on his bad days. Given that Filipino tradition does not align with this thought, this is why I think some marriages end up unhappy and miserable. once they get married and live under one roof, people change and their true colors starts to come out. Somehow there's no escape anymore because you are married. And despite the misery, some cannot find a way out because of the fear of shame from a failed marriage or for their children's sake. I think this is what happened to this couple. They're both public personas, and that any bad publicity like an annulment or their issue about their finances will not serve them well. Sadly, these frustrations ended up with a loss of life. I think for me personally, it pays to get to know whom you are marrying before marrying them, because when the honeymoon phase wears down, would you still want to stay together?
Yes.
Sometimes it does not feel the same anymore as when you are in the honeymoon phase. I also believe that before deciding to get married, this is also beneficial for a couple to experience a tough relationship crisis to for a significant amount of time, when they when they happen to remain respectful to one another as they go through this tough relationship crisis, and in the end survive it. I think that's the only time that they should start thinking about marrying each other.
Okay, thank you for that view, Emmeline. Emma Joy. How about Alexander?
Yeah, I would agree with them. I mean, even though we did the different case studies, I think I was able to see the pattern between the one that I did and the one that she did. Basically, as she said, people should try to live at least a certain amount of time together before deciding to get married, and they should also discuss on their life goals once they get married, and they should be aligned before they decide to enter the marriage. One other thing that I noticed between the case studies that I did and the case study that she did is usually when people have a lot of money at the beginning of their relationship, tends to me to see if after a while they get into financial troubles. They marriage will also follow that state of their finance, and they will also get into trouble.
Yes.
And as Emma mentioned, I think the relationships that went through like some big crisis during the relationship stage between marriage have more chance of becoming successful, because in a certain times when there are big troubles, you will be able to see how your partner is actually dealing with this, how the partner is treating you, and what can you expect in the future life when these kind of crises arise. Either it's financial crisis or some other crisis.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, that would be my contribution to what Emma said.
Oh, thank you, Alexander.
Yeah,
this is a tragic story.
Yeah.
No? Very tragic. They are a power couple. People look up to them for guidance as public personalities. But then that event happened. No, they become mortal enemies.
Yeah.
And I've seen the cause of the problem, which I will show later on what could have been done for the both of them to save their marriage. Okay, once again, thank you, Alexander and MJ, for that presentation. How about Kevin? Yeah, Kevin and Adrian, what's your case study?
Actually, Sir Jello, I think we already did this kasi second session ko to, kasi the person who was supposed to do the family planning was out when we did our session. That's why we attended the family planning one. So I think that's why I asked you earlier if this is kind of similar, or was it the pre-K na seminar that we did in the past. So
you attended na pre-K na din.
yeah, pero to answer your question, what we did in the past was the reaction paper for the movie. So yun lang naman. I think if yeah.
Okay. For the movie of what?
Yung Filipino one, Family Matters.
Michael B.
Oh, the Michael B. one.
Okay, okay. Sige.
Pero
Yeah.
as you mentioned, parang I think this is the same session. We'll hop off na rin after this one.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin and Adrian. So excuse na kita. Finally, Grace and Burns. Grace and Burns.
Hi. So, this may happen in a lot of family. Yung case po is sa in-laws po.
In-laws. What case study number yun?
I'm sorry.
Anong case study number yun? Hindi
Sorry,
kasama
kasi
doon?
I thought we're just having to
Pero natanggap niyo yung homework?
No, wala po eh. Kaya,
Wala pa. Okay. Okay. Sa in-laws, sige, what is your concern about in-laws?
So, medyo prominent po siya dito sa Philippines. Like, yung mga in-laws po ay they're getting their hands too much in a marriage. So, they end up being divorced or dahil po sa pakikialam ng mga in-laws.
Okay. Okay.
So, that's my
okay.
What
What
could have
could have been done to prevent it?
that, yeah, is to live and live.
To live what?
To live and live po.
To live and live. Okay. Tama yun. Tama yun. How about si Burns?
I think nasa work po siya.
So what's siya? Okay. Let me complete this session by sharing you these thoughts from Albert Einstein, great scientist who discovered something also about relationship. He said that marriage is a risk, and it's a great and glorious risk. Now, when we say risk, it can shorten or lengthen your life. What will happen, or what will be the cause of shortening your life would be the stress that will be created in between the two of you, the stress from your spouse. So it will be a great and glorious risk only, there's a condition he gave, only if you embark on the adventure in the same spirit, with the same spirit. So this is what also the Bible tells us, that when you unite as one body, you should have one spirit only, because one body requires one spirit only. So same spirit means same destiny, same goals, same mindset in everything, because that's the requirement of marriage, so that there will be no friction from both of you, less stress, less argument. The more you make yourselves one in mind, in heart, and in words, or in spirit overall. Okay? And remember that marriage is not about you anymore. You are now both legally obligated to produce functional and godly offspring, according to Malachi chapter 2. Has not the Lord made you one in flesh and spirit? They are His. You are His creation. You are His product. And why? He created you to be one, because He was seeking godly offspring. So that's the main purpose of making you one, creating you as one body, which should have one spirit only. Okay? So think about this. If you have a land and you want a building to be constructed on it, it's a vision. It's a goal that you see in your mind. So you will reduce that building into a drawing, into a plan, and that can only materialize, or that would only happen if you have the right team members. No, that vision in your mind, that building in your mind will happen if you have the right team members, right? The right architects, the right engineers, the right carpenters, right mason, laborers, electricians, plumbers, suppliers, or even the right finance management team. So you don't waste your funds in building the said building, in building the said structure. And most importantly, they know what they're doing. They are performing their duties consistently according to the design. They are all focused to the design. They are one in thinking about your design. That is where their lens are concentrated, each of them. So if one of these people brought their personal vision to your project, so your project may be derailed. Your project may experience problems. Okay, so getting that analogy in having a perfect marriage in your life, the more you believe in marriage, the more you want that picture of a happy family in your mind. You just get the right team members. Just get the right man with the right mentality, get the right woman with the right mentality, which is aligned to your mentality. The right husband and father who studied his job description, wife and mother who studied well her job description also, having the right friends who are family or goal oriented. This is the right people that you should be socializing with. The right counselors during challenges. That's us. We are just here to help you. The right environment, the right dwelling place. Is it the right dwelling place for both of you? And the right budgeting or finance skills and performance of your respective duties unconditionally and without fail. On YouTube, there is a video uploaded by the Harvard who conducted a 75-year or 85 years of study on human happiness. They said that they concluded that the happiest and healthiest people on earth are those who invested in relationships with their spouse in the family, with their children in the family, not in crypto, not in real estate, not in other things, but in relationship. So you want to live longer, or just watch that video on YouTube. We'd like to conclude that happy life is a choice. Happy marriage is a choice. Happy family is a choice. That is our priority. That is our focus. So the fate of your family lies to all the responsible and loving husbands and fathers with supportive and submissive wives and mothers today. So you want to have that happy family vision in your mind? Let it happen by believing in it first, so that your actions, your mindset, your words will just be focused in making that happy family or happy marriage happen. Remember that we are just managers on earth. We were born with nothing in our hands. We were born naked with nothing in our possession. So just tell your fiancé now that we are just managers, please. Tell one another, whatever you call each other, babe, honey, darling, or honey pie. Come on, my darling, we are just managers. Come on, I'd like to hear your voice. Are you still there?
We're
Yeah, tell to one another, my darling, we're just managers.
My darling, we're just managers.
We are, or I vow to manage you very well.
I vow to
I
manage.
vow
to manage you
you very well.
I vow to manage our marriage and family very well.
I vow to
I vow
manage.
to manage
our
very
marriage
well.
very well.
Let us manage well this institution together.
Let us manage.
Let us manage well this institution together
For
for the sake of our children and their children's children.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of you. Watch out for my books coming soon. It's in the making. And the first book was released last January. It's all about relationship. Preserving your marriage or preserving your sanity. It's written in Taglish. So it can reach a
Yeah.
lot of Filipinos. Okay. And so like and
Oh
follow
yeah.
us. Yes, like and follow us. Any feedback, questions, violent reactions? Please stand for truth all the time. Okay. Can we have your feedback? 1 minute for each of you, please. Just a quick. Did you learn something from this lesson? Did you like this presentation? Please, let's start with Ray and Joey. Ray, just a 1 minute feedback about this presentation. Ray and
I
Joey.
keep on having to find the microphone button. Yeah, I learned a little bit about different cultures, the Filipino culture, and your vision on marriage and family. It was like pretty enlightening for me.
Mhm. Thank you. How about Joyme? Joyme, can you speak? Kahit Tagalog? Nagustuhan mo ba ang ating pinag-aralan?
Yes, sir.
Yan. Okay, marami ka natutunan?
Opo.
Yan, thank you.
Kahit hindi po magaling sa English. Nakikinig naman po.
Thank you. Basta isa buhay, i-apply, ha? Gamitin.
Opo.
Okay. Aldrich and Rica. Thank you, Joyme. Aldrich and Rica. 1 minute feedback about this presentation.
I mean, I learned a lot. I've been doing a lot of research in the past couple of months already on this. But
That's
I
good.
did learn a lot from the previous presentation. So
Thank
a lot
you.
of
Thank you.
so a lot of obviously it's a lot of female reproduction, but yeah, I learned a lot from that section more. This
Yeah.
one I knew a lot. I knew quite a few already because I've been doing a lot of research on this part.
That's
This
good.
subject.
At least you have validated it to be correct, right?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Thank you. Rika.
So yeah, I learned some insights about marriage, like how to deal with mga problems and all.
Mhm.
So yeah, and family planning, of course.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for that. Nico and Jovi.
We really learned a lot since, as well as the pre-Cana before.
Mm.
I really believe na it will really help our relationship moving forward, as well as having a fulfilling marriage, and
Okay.
on how to create great family, as well as the family planning as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jovi. Nico. How about Jovi? You still have something to say?
Yeah, well, one thing about what we did the session earlier, I'm happy that Nico was informed about the calendar, female calendar, the ovulation and everything, because finally now he get to understand that there really is hormonal changes to women. And
Okay.
then that's one. And then for the later session this afternoon,
Mm.
regarding family and the role of husband and wife,
Mm.
actually it strengthened our knowledge or already
Mm.
understanding with
Mm.
our roles. And yeah, it's a guide for us moving forward. And we want to really follow this and do whatever it takes to have a working relationship, so that we will not be able to do what the case similar to what the cases that we read. So I
Yes.
hope we won't be anything close to those cases.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Joby, for staying. And Nico, thank you for staying.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. May photoshoot tayo maya ha. Konti na lang. Alexander and Emma Joy, your 1-minute feedback, please, about this session.
Hi,
Oh.
first of all, I would like to thank you and your wife for the insightful presentations. We learned from this pre-marriage counseling, even though we are married already. Actually, the purpose was for us joining here was to first just experience it because we don't have it here in Europe. And second is I somehow want to, for my husband to learn about the Filipino traditions and how marriage is also in the Philippines, although we both came from quite traditional countries. And yeah, I was really happy about the family planning presentation. We learned about the best time to,
Yes.
to actually for the best time for conception.
Yes.
And yeah, and also it's nice to be reminded from your session about having God as the center of the marriage.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Emma Joy. Alexander, you say something?
Yeah, I would just add, besides what Emma mentioned already, I would just add that it was really good to hear and listen to presentation that both you and your spouse had. And I would add the part where the roles between the man and woman in marriage are clearly defined.
Yes.
And probably many of the people in today's world would not agree with that, but
Yes.
I'm sure that both me and Emma are raised in, let's say, not quite, but pretty traditional way, and that we both agree that men and women have their own roles and strengths and weaknesses, and that we should both work together towards the same goal.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Alexander. Because, the world is taking this knowledge from us. The world.
Exactly.
It's taking this knowledge from us. They are redefining the family. They are recreating the meaning, the true meaning of marriage. And so,
but not in a good way.
Yeah, so the results are not beneficial to the society.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately. Thank you, Alexander and Emma Joy, for staying. And
Yeah, you're
finally,
welcome. Thank you for the time.
yeah. Finally, for Grace and Burns, please. Grace.
Doc Angelo, from this pre-marriage session, we finally understood that the marriage is not just a paper contract, but
Yes.
that it's two people building each other to stay in that marriage.
Yes. Good, very good. Thank you for that understanding. Si Burns, nasa work pa, no? Hindi pa siya
We're trying our
makasalita.
best
Okay.
para makasali.
Okay. Sige, so thank you. My sincere prayers for the success of your marriage. I hope you will always be guided by these principles that we shared with you, and you will live your life according to God's plan, so you can both enjoy the benefits of marriage. So can we have a group photo shoot? Can you open your videos? Yeah. Finally, I've seen you all. Ray and Joy, can you open your video? Yan. Si Burns, narinig ba tayo? Hindi. Sige. Let's proceed. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. One more. Wave. Wave and smile. Kaway-kaway. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you guys for staying. Maraming salamat sa inyong attention. Thank you, Alexander and Emma Joy, Nico and Joby, Grace and Burns, Ray and Joy Me, Alexandra and Emma Joy, Aldrin and Rita. Thank you so much for your trust, and we hope to see you soon, guys. Huh? Someday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you once again.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.